Good afternoon, everyone, and we're back here again today. It's a Tuesday, and we're chatting about intestinal and liver detoxification this week. So thanks for joining me again here early in the new year as we're all trying to detoxify and get ready to pursue our New Year's resolutions. So I'm going to be going through this at kind of a high level. So if anyone wants to ask a question, feel free to type it in the question box. When we get to the question session, I would like for people to consider unmuting themselves and speaking up and asking a question. So this presentation does have a lot of content, so we might go over a little bit over 30 minutes. Please try to hang in there and hang out with me at the end if you can. If you can't, I understand. So we'll go ahead and get moving here right now. Okay, so today's discussion, we're going to talk about present day toxic load and toxic burdens, intestinal and liver detoxification, and then four supplements that are wonderful for tackling both intestinal and liver detoxification. And those are QuantaFlor, QuantaFeel, QuantaDepure, and QuantaSmodium. Then we're going to do our Q&A, and we'll talk about aligning with PhytoQuant. So stick with us here. And just a little bit more about myself. I am the National Educator and Clinical Consultant with PhytoQuant USA and Steiner Labs. I do have a background in nutrition, and I am a clinical nutritionist and have done counseling as well with doctors, including bariatric surgeons, gastroenterologists, and I do have postdoctoral nutrition training myself. I was down in Florida for 2 years where I was the clinical consultant, assisting practitioners with protocols for about 2 years, and I did that with about 1,100 practitioners. So my specialty is digestion and digestive imbalances and micronutritional supplementation. So thank you for joining me. So let's just talk about the fact that basically, unfortunately, our legacy is toxins. So now when everybody's born, there's about 200 chemicals that are present in the body at birth, 700 chemicals found in the adult body, 80,000 different chemicals or xenobiotics are introduced or have been introduced since World War II. We've got about 2,300 new chemicals or xenobiotics coming in annually, and about 4 billion pounds of pesticides are poured into our environment on a yearly basis. Many different toxins are actually still unknown. So let's cover water and the most common air and water pollutants. The most common air pollutants include carbon monoxide, ozone, formaldehyde, sulfur dioxide, acetylene, nitrogen dioxide, ammonia, and methyl chloride. So pretty good list there. Common water pollutants include toluene. That's actually getting into the environment through gasoline. Trichloroethylene and tetrachloroethylene are dry cleaner chemicals. Chloroform, chlorine, obviously from a lot of water sources, PCBs, lead, mercury, pesticides, lindane, and dichlorobenzene. So we've got a good list there as well. So there are different pollutants lurking in our food. This isn't a comprehensive list, but some of the most common include acrylamides, which are leaching in through plastics and adhesives during cooking. And interestingly enough, French fries and the way that those are cooked obtain about 100 times the safe limit of acrylamides are in those quote unquote foods. Antibiotics, of course, are heavy within our food chain, and millions of Americans consume a lot of antibiotics on a yearly basis. That trend kind of is declining with more education around the fact that antibiotics make us more resistant to different bugs and they shouldn't be overused. Same thing with agricultural livestock. The use of antibiotics is declining, but it's still pretty high. Glyphosate pesticides and different pesticides, of course, are high. Out of about the 900 pesticides that exist, 160 of those are known carcinogens. And the glyphosate usage exploded in the 1990s. That's when basically it was decided that these GMO crops were coming on the scene. That's corn, canola, cotton, soybeans. And basically, the glyphosate made them Roundup ready, or basically it prevented pests from growing, but still, quote unquote, preserved the actual crop yield. So the usage of this pesticide glyphosate has been pretty out of hand, 100 million pounds per year. 19% of that is usage in the US. They talk a lot now about adjuvants and the fact that this particular pesticide is pervasive. It's staying in the environment for several years after its usage. So it can accumulate in the environment, and it's a pretty big deal. So they're finding more and more information about the fact that glyphosate is pretty toxic. A lot of you probably already know that. What is the biological caveat or interesting point here? It's the fact that animals supposedly don't use the Shikimate pathway. And so the idea here is that glyphosate blocks the Shikimate pathway, which is used by a lot of primitive organisms like bacteria. But if you think about our gut microbiome and the fact that it contains bacteria, if you're ingesting a lot of glyphosate, the Shikimate pathway of your microbiome is being blocked. And so synthesis of amino acids has been shown to be the result there, or the lack of synthesis of amino acids. So that's an interesting point there. Originally, it wasn't supposed to be a big deal. It wasn't going to harm animals like ourselves, but now they're finding that in fact, it has disrupted synthesis of amino acids, et cetera. So there is a lot of evidence that it disrupts sulfate synthesis, gut bacteria, and detox pathways and minerals. So just wanted to spend a little time on glyphosate. There's questions about whether glyphosate is causing obesity. It's interesting that with the explosion of glyphosate at the end of the last century, in the 90s, that there's been a huge increase in obesity. Of course, we've also had sugar consumption increase significantly, but it's interesting and it's questionable about whether glyphosate is playing a role there. And that's out of the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. So statistically, xenobiotics are found in fat tissue. If you're wondering why, a lot of toxins that the body really doesn't process well or immediately get stored in fat tissue. So some of these toxic chemicals are called obesogens. Again, they're stored in fat tissue where they end up disrupting hormonal balance, metabolism, and ultimately causing obesity. So these are some different xenobiotics that are persistent. They're 100% of the time found in our fat tissue. So not at a low level, but at 100% of the time, it's going to be in somebody's body, these different chemicals. So it's kind of unfortunate to think about this. So we really are getting bombarded by toxins, but they do vary in origin, and I would argue that some of them are more under our control while others are not. So metabolically, we have the ability and the knowledge, and as we become more educated, more knowledge to handle hyperinsulinemia or manage our blood sugar, to bring down elevated uric acid and decrease cytokines or different inflammatory responses in the body. So those are more under our control. We do have control over psychological stresses like chronic stress, abuse, emotional trauma. We can become more educated and take ourselves out of the way of different hypersensitivities that we might have to different foods, allergies, other types of intolerances, et cetera, sensitivities. Our seasonal environment might be more of a challenge, but a lot of times we can work to take ourselves out of the way of the things that are bothering us. And of course, nutritional choices, preservatives, additives, alcohol, trans fatty acids, meats, and hormones. We can become more educated to avoid those things as well. Things that are more outside of our control include a lot of chemicals that are pervasive now in the environment, our land, water, and air. heavy metals, PCBs, pesticides, parabens, styrene. We talked a little bit about how we can control the food choices and purchase organic to decrease our pesticide exposure. Biological agents, of course, we're learning within the coronavirus that wearing a mask is a good idea, but viral, bacterial, parasitic agents, fungal exposures, et cetera, those are not always within our control. And then physical, like radiation, not as within our control, et cetera. Okay, so detoxification, what is it? So it's really not any earth-shattering new thing. It's something that the body is continuously doing. The body continuously heals and repairs itself. It always has. It's an internal cleansing process that takes place continuously and naturally. What are the different systems in the body that require or perform detoxification? Those are the cardiovascular, lymphatic, digestive, urinary, skin, and respiratory. And the liver is really notable here. It's of primary importance. It really does break down toxins. It takes toxins that are really toxic and moves them from phase 1 to being fat soluble and then water soluble, and finally excretes them from the body. So the liver is really amazing. It has a really prime detoxification role. So health really does begin within the digestive tract. It's important to think about this, of course, when you're thinking about your detox programs with your clients and patients. And, the food we eat really must be properly digested in order to benefit us. Otherwise, we're looking at it not benefiting us. Poor digestion can really do a number on us. It's not just the fact that we won't be absorbing the macro and micronutrients that are critical, but large molecules that go undigested, that aren't chewed properly, can become a real problem down the digestive system and wreak havoc getting into the bloodstream and upregulating the immune system. So for whatever reason, that dysbiosis might be occurring in the digestive tract. So if there is a digestive breakdown somewhere in the digestive tract, whether it be because of an infection, poor diet, or improper chewing, et cetera, it's going to perpetuate poor absorption and a bad microbiome. And all those things affect immunity and really many, many systems, in the body. Like, for example, if you have large molecules that are going undigested and you're taking a bunch of NSAIDs, for example, you're going to affect that intestinal lining and exacerbate intestinal permeability. That causes more endotoxins to get into the bloodstream, and endotoxins, of course, affect your cardiovascular system, and that's going to be a potential repercussion besides whatever damage or problems that causes the brain. So the gut breaks down food into nutrients the body can use. Just to set this up here, we've got prebiotics. What are prebiotics? They include, a lot of soluble fibers. And then the probiotics eat those soluble fibers and they produce metabolites called postbiotics. Short chain fatty acids are getting a lot of interesting recognition now because they have such a positive benefit in the body. They help to maintain metabolism, they help cardiovascular function, they help the brain, et cetera, et cetera. They do a lot of repair down in the GI. They pretty much fuel the colonocytes, which are the cells of the large intestine. They help to prevent colon cancers, et cetera. So, these prebiotics, these soluble fibers, they're more readily broken down in the presence of polyphenols by probiotics. And again, we have these really great benefits when everything's going right. The person's eating the right things, and they're chewing them really well, and the digestive system's working, and we're producing these great metabolites like the short chain fatty acids. So supporting the liver and key detox, is really the key detoxification organ that we need to really think about. And again, we need to support it with the diet when we're looking at doing a concentrated detoxification. The liver is going to take fat-soluble metabolites, metabolic end products, microorganisms, contaminants, pollutants, insecticides, pesticides, food additives, drugs, alcohol. Of course, it's got to process all these things. It takes it through phase 1 and then through phase 2, and then you have a water-soluble, excretable thing. So, or waste product eliminated from the body through the gallbladder. So, you know, it benefits the liver to have bile that's flowing properly. You're going to have different toxins leaving the body through the bile and the digestive system and into the stool. At the same time, the kidney is going to do further breakdown, and you're going to have a lot of excreted waste products through the urine. Excuse me. So this is just kind of an overview and thinking about supporting the liver, et cetera. So just a few things about our company. I'll kind of run through these pretty quickly. You know, PhytoQuant prides itself on being transparent, and a lot of the new trends in the industry speak to a lot of things like transparency, and we've already been doing these things for more than 16 years. We are a popular brand over in Europe and have been again for 16 plus years. We are complying with ISO 9001 and ISO 14000 standards, as well as other standards. And the ISO 14000 certify us for exceptional environmental standards. Some of the other things that we're doing, we're utilizing ultrasound extraction, so there's absolutely no solvents used in extracting the viable plant material. And we don't use heat either. So we're really able to preserve that viable material coming out of the plant. There's no alcohol, there's no other solvents. And, you know, the efficacy of those particular nutrients is really maintained through the ultrasound extraction process. The importance of water, the Grander method, which has been researched by a number of prominent scientists, is being utilized as well. And we do that to, quote unquote, zero out the water. Water carries information, and when we zero it out, we make it more able to function for the purpose of extracting a specific type of nutrient from a plant. Some of the other things is that PhytoQuant's facility in Italy, they use the geobiology principles, and that's really neat. You see pictured here the pyramid above the manufacturing facility. So we have 15 exclusive digestive health products that we're offering presently. The PhytoQuant line in Europe has more products. We chose to begin with these because as Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, I guess, says that all disease begins in the gut. So we're all learning, you know, that more and more as the research comes in that what's happening in the gut really is influencing all body systems. So just some things about our products. They're made in Italy, they're pesticide free, they're non-GMO, they're gluten free, and of course, they're very high potency. So we're proud to offer these products to you. So intestinal and liver detoxification supplementation. Again, we're going to talk about 4 main products here: QuantaFlor, QuantaFeel, QuantaDepure, and QuantaSmodium. The first 2 primarily support the intestines, and the last 2 primarily support the liver, but there is some overlap. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Steiner Labs cannot provide medical advice or guidance, and you should seek advice from a medical professional before making any diet or lifestyle changes. So QuantaFlor, a few things about this particular probiotic. It is a blend of 4 strains that have been well studied. They're very popular in supporting the immune system. They're popular in supporting different bowel dysfunction and inflammation. And they're coupled with FOS, inulin, and then coriander is used to help make the probiotic more amenable to the tummy so that people aren't experiencing much discomfort. So I really love this product, and we do find that starts to work very quickly, especially because the prebiotics, inulin and coriander are included. And just as a statement, one of our other products includes a very new popular soluble fiber called fenugreek, and that's our Quanta Digest. And if you want to add that into a protocol, that's a wonderful product too, since we've been talking a lot about prebiotics and soluble fibers. Quanta Feel, this is a really wonderful adjunctive product with Quanta Flor, and we suggest that this be taken in the evening and that Quanta Flor be taken in the morning. So this would be a before bed product. We're obtaining the chlorophyll from stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is known to have a lot of micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and even magnesium, a high amount of magnesium besides chlorophyll. And we obtain ours from the plants grown right near our facility in Italy. So this is really a wonderful product. And what I love about the chlorophyll in this product is that, you know, it's hygienic, so it's gentle as well. So it provides kind of like an antiseptic quality with a slight laxative effect without being really harsh down in the GI. So you're going to affect any negative microbiota down there, and in a rather gentle way. And then, you know, as some additional benefits, you're going to have improved body odor, joint and skin health improved potentially, and of course the overall digestive system. So I love this product in conjunction with Quanta Flor. Quanta Depure, this is obviously another product to consider in an intestinal detox, and this product mainly is supporting the liver. And you know, we talked before about how you need to have proper bile flow leaving the body if you want to excrete toxins and if you want to improve liver function. Common herbs that or roots that are used in liver support include dandelion root and burdock root. Burdock, interestingly, also has a prebiotic effect, so it's helpful for nourishing the microbiome. But it is a great blood purifier and lymph cleanser, and dandelion is really a digestive tonic, and it helps to increase glutathione. So that's an important aspect or supporter for phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. The black radish in the synergistic blend is shown to positively assist in phase 1 and phase 2 detox as well. And the rosemary in there is a nervine. It also provides some cardiovascular support and stimulant. Orthosiphon in some circles is known as more of a weight loss or weight supportive type of compound, and that's a hepatoprotective phenolic compound as well. So that is the blend. And again, if you're dealing with different clients or patients without a gallbladder, I actually suggest this product on a daily basis. You can do 1 stick a day. If you're utilizing it in the intestinal or liver cleanse, then what you can do is start with 1 stick a day, maybe mid-morning or mid-afternoon, and then increase to up to 2 sticks. We recommend if you do a full detox that you consume or have the person consume 60 sticks, which would be 2 boxes of Quanta Depure, probably over about a month's time, especially if someone's increasing to 2 sticks a day. So yeah, love this product. One of the beneficial side effects is glowing skin. Quantasmodium, this is a wonderful product as well. It's harvested from equatorial regions. In the instance of fetal quant, we're obtaining this from the regions of Cameroon and Africa. And it's an interesting product. Again, the active ingredient is desmodium, and that has vitexins and isovitexins. Those are the active compounds. And this particular product has demonstrated an incredible ability to strengthen liver cells and normalize elevated liver enzymes. Some of the different conditions it's regularly used in natural medicine is jaundice and chronic hep C. So those are some instances, and also with alcoholics. So 1,350 drops per bottle. Right here on the page, actually, this is actually more of a therapeutic dose. We recommend in the intestinal detox that you suggest about 30 drops per day. You could do 15 drops before 2 main meals and a little bit of water, so you don't need a lot of water, but do about 15 drops before 2 main meals, so 30 drops a day for a standard intestinal liver detoxification. So if you want to do more, 60 to 90 drops per day is very therapeutic. So just a few notes on some studies. Our particular brand of desmodium or quantismodium has been studied in independent studies. Again, it's a very high quality. There's no alcohol used. It's a glycerin-based product, and it has a very, very high potency. So in one study, there were 9 alcoholic volunteers of different ages, and the dosage was 30 drops 3 times a day, so 90 total drops a day. And the collection, or the data collection, this particular study lasted 2 months. The patients were monitored for GGT, transaminases, alk-phos, bilirubin, albumin, and they had a checkup every 15 days. The results were that after 2 weeks, patients had returned to within biological normals. At the end of 2 months, liver biomarkers had decreased by an average of 80%. And compared to the control group, the 2 most important values that changed within one month were the GGT levels decreased 3 times more in the control, decreased 3 times more than the control group. So in the experimental group, they decreased 3 times the that of the control group. And then the transaminase and the SGOT levels decreased 4 times greater than the control group. So some really significant liver biomarkers really changing there is very interesting. So the conclusions were that results showed to what extent concentrated desmodium can really be protective and regenerate liver cells as its traditional use suggests. So these results really did exceed expectations. So it's a great study about desmodium. So just some overalls. To detoxify, we need to support the body's detox pathways, digestion, obviously respiratory, cardiovascular, et cetera. All of those different pathways need to be clear and supported. We need to provide balanced, broad spectrum antioxidants and synergists. We need to provide bile support, so bile needs to be able to flow properly. That's why we talk about Quanta de Pure, but some additional nutrients include vitamin C. There is some vitamin C in our Quanta Smodium product, taurine, different enzymes, so you can suggest a higher enzyme diet to your patients or clients. A lot of people like to utilize some raw foods, maybe some raw blended foods, maybe some pressed juices, maybe things like beet juice, which are known to be liver supportive. Supporting digestive function, that really includes everything, small meals, chewing properly, making sure the person has adequate B vitamins, et cetera. So those are all going to help, in minerals. So those are all going to help. Provide support for healthy inflammatory processes. This is also why I like to see people on a higher enzyme diet. So raw foods support a higher enzyme diet. If people can't do that, that's okay. You can even provide enzymes in a supplement. We have a great one called Quantazine. So that provides some extra anti-inflammatory support. It's a proteolytic enzyme, or primarily a proteolytic enzyme. And it can also support digestive processes and chomp up some of that protein down in the GI. So address the needs of the GI tract, fiber, amino acids, vitamin A, digestive support. So again, these are some important things to just remember. And then I just like to finish up with an overall detox approach. Identify and remove the source of contamination. So if someone has a known source like mold, if there's problems with different things in the home like carpeting, etc., they might need an air filter. So really working to identify and support the removal of those things. Protecting against damage from toxins, supporting pathways of elimination, we just went over that. Bolstering liver detoxification pathways and continue to monitor your health status. So one question I've gotten in a previous seminar is, what is the order of detoxification of the different systems? You always want to clear out the bowel, you want to clear out the intestines, and usually you need to do liver support at the same time, and that's what we presented today. But like the Quanta de Pure also supports kidneys. If you're going to do a lot of liver detox or keep on detoxing the liver, you want to make sure that the kidneys are clear. So working with some teas like Pau de Arco, and also utilizing some of our supplementation and foods that are really great for kidneys, like citrus, like lemons and limes are great. Utilizing those types of things are going to be supportive. So those are some thoughts about the order of detoxification. So intestinal detoxification, again, you've got QuantaFlora, QuantaFeel, Quanta de Pure, 2 cups QuantaFlora in the AM. You can do before breakfast, maybe 10 minutes after. Depends on what you guys like to suggest. And QuantaFeel before bed, so you want to take it at a different time. That's really important, and that helps to implant the flora better. And really be hygienic and antiseptic, etc. And then de Pure, you want to do 1 packet in water, increasing to up to 2 a daily. And then if you want to further support the liver or just concentrate on a liver detox, you can do Quantasmodium with Quanta de Pure. And again, Quantasmodium is going to help concentrate more so on liver regeneration, whereas Quanta de Pure is going to be more supportive of liver detox. So you've got the two working well together at the same time. So 30 drops minimal for Quantasmodium for this type of liver detox. If you want to go higher with your patients or clients, that's up to you, depending on their histories, I understand. Here's some great customer reviews for you to consider. This particular person about QuantaFlora, I've had stomach problems most of my life. I've tried similar products, but they really didn't work. And he suspected that they didn't contain what they said they contained. And then he tried QuantaFlora, and he said, all of my lifelong stomach problems have gone away. He loves the product. So Quantasmodium, perfect for those who want to take care of their liver naturally. Again, it's a really unique liver supportive regenerative product, and it has bronchial dilation properties. So people have been using it. We do have some testimonials where some people have used it as a support product in support of COVID-19 issues. So it's a bronchial dilation product. We do have it in our anti-allergy protocol as well. So QuantaFeel, it really cleans you out. My mom sent to me at college. I can't believe how much better I feel. I take 2 at night and have for about a month. And then in Quanta de Pure, this does everything it promises and more. I did 1 round after being very sick and not eating. Improvements were almost immediate, better than any other detox product I have tried. I really love Quanta de Pure as well. And so, if you do tend to be a little bit more liver sluggish, that's myself. Being on a product like this almost daily can be a real help. So here are some practitioner testimonials as well. There are a lot of products on the market, but it's really hard to find ones that are high quality. That's why I prefer PhytoQuant. That's coming from one of our really enthusiastic practitioners up in New York City. Her name is Lauren Minchin, and she's an RD. So she works with gut health all the time, and she really loves our product line. Another practitioner who's both an Ayurvedic practitioner and yoga teacher says, PhytoQuant made sense to me. Their supplements are as natural as possible, and I'm amazed by their quality. So we really have a lot of people appreciating the quality of the products. So I am going to ask if anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask a question. I'm going to see here, I've kind of lost, I'm gonna have to pop out here for a second. I'm kind of lost my ability to look at our questions tab here. Sorry, folks. Okay, let's see here. I don't see any questions. I'm gonna just wait another second here to see if anybody wants to unmute themselves. Okay, so I don't see any major questions. Thank you so much again for joining me this week. And in aligning with us, if you haven't yet aligned with us, it costs you nothing. In fact, the benefits are all on your side. You can chat with us. I can probably be on that call with you. Feel free to reach out to me by email. My email is posted here at the end. And we'll do a chat to find out whether we can align or we think we're going to align. And again, we're really focused on empowering you with micronutritional education and talking about things like we are today, conditions, et cetera. We're really here to see you succeed. So we do have a lot of different webinars and different presentations that you can take advantage of. We're even developing different brochures on common conditions like GERD and IBS, and all those things can be supportive to you, I hope. So thank you so much for joining me today, and please go ahead and exercise your Learn 30 complimentary discount code. So gather all the products you can. Again, the ones we discussed today were QuantaFlor, QuantaFeel, QuantaDepure, and QuantaSmodium. So if you want to do a complete intestinal and liver detox, you can go ahead and round up those products and any others. This is a very popular product, Quanta EPP here. And it's a really good immune booster as well. And you can purchase those up on our website. So just don't forget to enter the Learn 30 discount code. So please go ahead and schedule a time to talk with me. If you have any questions from today's presentation or anything else, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to support you. And my email is liz@steinerlab.com. So that's lab, not plural. liz@steinerlab.com. And my telephone number is listed here too. And grab a friend. There's some benefits for you if you do. And our next presentation, I'm forgetting what we're going to be talking about next week. So just pop right up on the website. And if you want to get on my email list, if you're not already on our general list, I do send out a reminder about what we're chatting about here weekly. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you next week. Thanks so much.